Romeoville, Illinois, a quiet suburban village where the most exciting thing that happens is usually a high school football game or a local parade. But on September 17, 2023, the silence on Kelly Avenue wasn't peaceful. It was heavy. It was the silence of a grave. When Zoraida Bartolomei didn't show up for her shift at work, her family felt a prickle of unease. Zoraida wasn't just reliable, she was the glue that held things together. By Sunday night, that unease turned into full-blown panic. At 8:43 p.m., police arrived at the 500 block of Kelly Avenue for a well-being check. They expected to find a medical emergency or perhaps a misunderstanding. Instead, they walked into a nightmare. Inside the home lay the bodies of Alberto Rolon, his wife Zoraida, and their two young sons, 10-year-old Adriel and 7-year-old Diego. Even the family's 3 dogs had been executed. There was no sign of a struggle, no forced entry, just the cold, clinical aftermath of a massacre. As the yellow crime scene tape went up, a community's heart broke, and a nationwide manhunt began for a monster hiding in plain sight. To understand the horror of this crime, we have to look at who was lost. Alberto and Zoraida had only moved to Romeoville a few months prior. They were looking for the American dream, a safe street for their boys to ride their bikes. Neighbors described the children as bright and full of life. Adriel and Diego were typical kids, obsessed with video games and playing outside. The scene inside the house was haunting. The family was likely caught off guard, perhaps in a moment of Sunday evening relaxation. This wasn't a robbery gone wrong. Nothing of high value was reported missing. It was a targeted assassination. Investigators immediately began combing through Zoraida's life. Who would want this family dead? The answer lay in digital footprints. In the modern age, we leave a trail of breadcrumbs everywhere we go. By analyzing cell tower pings and Zoraida's private communications, detectives began to see a name surfacing. A man who lived in another town, but whose shadow loomed large over the Bartolomei household. The name was Nathaniel Huey Jr., a 31-year-old man from Streamwood, Illinois. On the surface, Huey was a pillar of his community. He owned a private security firm called Black Ops Security Solutions. He was a man who knew guns, knew tactics, and knew how to stay under the radar. But behind the security expert persona was a man spiraling into obsession. Investigators discovered that Huey and Zoraida had a relationship, the exact nature of which remains a subject of intense speculation. Some reports suggest a workplace connection that turned personal, while others hint at a darker, more manipulative dynamic. Huey wasn't alone. He had a longtime girlfriend, Ermelinda Palomo. As police closed in on Huey's home in Streamwood, they found it empty. He had vanished, and he had taken Ermelinda with him. A blue alert was issued, the kind of alert reserved for the most dangerous fugitives. The message was clear. Nathaniel Huey Jr. was armed, dangerous, and had nothing left to lose. For 3 days, the Midwest was on edge. Where was he? How does a man responsible for a quadruple homicide just disappear? The answer came from a license plate recognition camera in Oklahoma, nearly 800 miles away from the crime scene. On Wednesday morning, Oklahoma police spotted Huey's silver Dodge Durango. When they attempted a traffic stop, Huey slammed on the accelerator. What followed was a high-speed chase that reached terrifying speeds. Huey drove like a man who knew his journey ended in only one of 2 ways: a prison cell or a casket. The chase ended in a fiery crash in Catoosa, Oklahoma. As officers surrounded the smoking wreckage, they heard 2 distinct gunshots. By the time they reached the vehicle, Nathaniel Huey Jr. was dead from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. In the passenger seat, Ermelinda Palomo was fighting for her life with a bullet wound to the head. She would later succumb to her injuries at the hospital. The man who held all the answers had pulled the trigger on himself, taking the why to his grave. The death of the suspect didn't bring closure, it only brought more questions. Why kill the children? Why kill the pets? In the world of criminal psychology, this is known as family annihilation, but usually it's committed by a father against his own family. Here, it was an outsider. Was it a crime of passion, or was it a cold-blooded attempt to erase everything Zoraida loved as a final act of domestic terrorism? Palomo's family later claimed she was a victim too, that she was being held against her will. But investigators found evidence suggesting she may have known about the plan, or even assisted in the getaway. Today, the house on Kelly Avenue stands as a grim reminder. A family that came for a better life was met with an unimaginable evil. It serves as a warning about the digital shadows we live in and the monsters who can hide behind the badge of a security firm. What do you think was the true motive behind such a heartless act? Was Nathaniel Huey Jr. a man who simply snapped, or was this a calculated execution long in the making? Let us know your theories in the comments below. If you found this deep dive informative, please hit the like button and subscribe for more true crime cases. Rest in peace to the Rolon Bartolomei family. Stay vigilant and stay safe.